Warning, in this video we will be talking about poop and looking at representations of poop. You have been warned. Hi, I'm Dr. Ken Berry, a family physician, and this video is going to attempt to explain everything you always needed to know about your poop, but were afraid to ask. I get questions in my comments about, is my poop normal? More often than almost any other topic. So I thought that you might enjoy a video talking about your poop, what's normal, what's not, what's temporarily abnormal, and what you should go see a doctor for. That's what this video is going to cover. We will be looking at illustrations of poop, no actual pictures, but cartoon illustrations to help you understand what's normal for your poop and what's abnormal and what's worrisome. There's a lot of misunderstanding out there on the interwebs about poop, about the normal amount of poop you should have, about the normal frequency with which you should poop, poop color, poop consistency, whether you should see a doctor for your poop or not, whether you should take a pill for your poop or not. I'm going to try to cover all this in this video. First of all, let's talk about poop frequency. How often should you poop? The official diagnostic criteria that doctors use is that if you are pooping anywhere from 3 times a day, every day, that's normal, okay? And then the scale moves all the way to pooping once every 3rd day. That is the normal range for human beings' poop frequency. And so if you're pooping 3 times a day every day, that's completely normal. Don't worry about it. If you're pooping only once every 3rd day, that is also normal. Don't worry about that. Now, if you're pooping less often than once every 3 days, there's where you go see your doctor or adjust your diet or add something into your regimen to help you poop a little more often. It's still not dangerous that you're not pooping any more often than once every 3rd day, but it is worrisome and you should talk to your doctor about that. Now let's move on to your poop consistency. And there's actually a scale that doctors use to talk about poop consistency called the Bristol scale. Now don't get upset over poor Dr. Bristol having this scale named after him. This is actually not named after a doctor. It's named after a healthcare system that came up with this. So leave poor Dr. Bristol out of this. So there are 7 types of poop according to the Bristol stool chart. All of these can be okay, all right? So type 1 is separate hard lumps like nuts. Some people call this rabbit poop. Some people say it's like goat poop. If you're not having any other symptoms except having type 1 Bristol poop, that can be perfectly normal and fine. If you're having symptoms of constipation, which I'm going to talk about in a few minutes, then this poop can be a sign of constipation, but not always. Type 2 is sausage-shaped but lumpy. I love how they have to use food descriptions for your poop, but hey, that's just how doctors are. Sausage-shaped but lumpy, this is almost always normal. Some people do Bristol type 2 poops their entire life. It's completely normal for them, nothing ever to worry about. Type 3 is like a sausage, but with cracks on its surface. Again, this is a completely normal type of poop, never anything to worry about. This is some people's poop style. They just have a Bristol 3, that's what they do. Type 4 is, again, like a sausage or snake, smooth and soft. Again, this is a completely normal type of poop. Never anything to worry about. Type 5, you have soft blobs with clear-cut edges. It's passed easily. This is, again, a completely normal style of poop. It's never anything to worry about, nothing to waste a doctor visit on. Type 6 is fluffy pieces with ragged edges, a mushy stool. Again, for many people, this is a completely normal style of poop. They'll poop this way every day or just every so often. Again, nothing to worry about whatsoever. And then type 7 is watery, no solid pieces, entirely liquid. This is diarrhea, and we'll talk about this some more in a few minutes, but it can range from nothing to worry about at all to something you should see your doctor about. The type 2 through type 6. If you have these, should be considered completely normal unless your poop consistency changes. So if you're normally a type 2 and all of a sudden you change to a type 6, that might be a cause for concern, but if it only lasts a few days and then goes back to your normal poop style, again, probably nothing to worry about at all. Now let's talk about poop color. Poop can be many, many different colors. By far the most common and most normal is some shade of brown. It can be anywhere from a very light brown all the way up to a very, very dark brown, and that is completely a normal poop color. Poop can also sometimes be black. If you just have an occasional black poop, it's probably nothing to worry about, but if you're having frequent black poops, then it can indicate that you may have a small bleed in your upper gastrointestinal system, so in your esophagus, your stomach, or the upper part of your small intestine. Doesn't have to mean that, but it can mean that. And so having repetitive black poop, you may need to talk to your doctor about that. Also, if you're taking certain medications or over-the-counter things like a bismuth, then that can also give you black poop. What about green poop? Green poop is almost nothing to worry about ever. If you eat too many vegetables or if there are several other things going on differently in your diet, you can have green poop, just a one-time green poop, or you can have it for several days. It's almost never ever anything to worry about. The next is gray or white poop. If you have this just off and on, occasionally, rarely, it's virtually nothing to worry about whatsoever. If you have repetitive white or gray poop over many days, then this can indicate an issue with your biliary system, your gallbladder, your liver. And so if you're having repetitive white or gray poops, you may want to talk to your doctor about that. The next is yellow poop. Again, if you're eating lots of beta carotenoids in your diet, you can have yellow poop, you can have green poop, you can have orange poop from eating lots of colorful vegetables. It's virtually, again, never something to worry about or waste your time going to the doctor about. Lastly is red poop. Now, if you're having red poop, if after you poop the water in the commode has been tinged orange or red or pink, you need to see your doctor for that. That means that you might have, not 100%, but you might have a bleed somewhere in your lower gastrointestinal system. This can be the third part of your small intestine or anywhere in your large intestine or in your rectum or anus. It can range in causes from being a internal hemorrhoid, external hemorrhoid, fissure, all the way up to colon cancer. Now, just because you have a red poop doesn't mean you have colon cancer, but it does mean you need to talk to your doctor about that and perhaps have some testing done. And when I say red poop, I mean that the entire poop's red, or there's little red specks in your poop, or that the water in the commode is any shade of red whatsoever. That needs to be a doctor visit. Now, you can eat things or drink things in your diet that cause red poop. I can remember when one of my children was very small, they drank lots of red Kool-Aid and they had red poop. And the pediatrician said, yeah, if they drink red Kool-Aid, they're gonna have red poop. Don't worry. Now let's talk about constipation for a few minutes specifically. There are millions of people around the world who think that they are constipated or have chronic constipation when they really don't. A lot of people have seen the Bristol poop scale and they have type 1 poop and they think that that's definitive of constipation. But in many people, as I said earlier, they can have Bristol type 1, and as long as they don't have any of the other symptoms of constipation, that ain't constipation. So let's talk about what is constipation. First of all, constipation is not a diagnosis, it's a symptom. And so if you have these symptoms of constipation, then you need to talk to your doctor because you may have an underlying diagnosis that is causing the symptom of constipation. So the Rome 3 diagnostic criteria, I think, are the best for diagnosing functional constipation. You have to have at least 2 of these symptoms to be formally diagnosed with constipation. So if you're straining, and I don't mean you just had to hold your breath and strain a little, I mean really straining to poop on at least 25% of your poop episodes, then that's one of the criteria for constipation. It doesn't mean you have it, you have to have at least two of these symptoms. The second is lumpy or hard stools at least 25% of the time. So you have to have A and B to be formally diagnosed with constipation, not just lumpy hard stools, but no straining. So, and then the next is a sensation of incomplete evacuation. So you pooped, but you didn't get rid of all your poop that was down in the lower part of your large intestine. And that's actually what constipation is when you're not getting rid of all your poop that's ready to be pooped out. Now, there's going to be poop up higher in your transverse colon, your ascending colon, and your small intestine, but that poop is not ready to be hatched yet. So you don't want to completely empty your large intestine every time you poop. That would be a ginormous poop, and that poop on the ascending side isn't ripe yet. It's not time to poop it out. Next is the sensation of obstruction or blockage down in your anorectal area, right? And that, if you have that sign, then you might have constipation if you have another one of these to go along with it. And then anyone that has to use any kind of manual or digital maneuvers to get their poop out. So if you're having to insert your finger to get the poop out, or using your fingers to support your pelvic floor to get the poop out, or to stimulate the contraction, then you might have constipation if you have one of these other signs to go along with it. And then finally, if you're pooping less than 3 times a week, that is one of the signs of possible constipation, but you need that plus another to actually be diagnosed with constipation. So many people watching this video right now, you're convinced that you have chronic constipation, but if you don't meet these criteria, then you don't have chronic constipation and you are not in any danger whatsoever. Stop worrying about your poop. The next topic about poop is diarrhea. And so if you have a Bristol type 7, that's diarrhea. Now, does that mean you should immediately go to the doctor? No. Any change in your gut bacteria, your gut virals, or your gut fungi can cause you to temporarily have diarrhea for 1 to 3 days. And so with that being said, if you only have diarrhea for 1 or 2 or 3 days, that's not a medical emergency. You don't need to see a doctor. Now, if you have diarrhea with a very high fever, then you need to see your doctor. Or if you have diarrhea with severe abdominal pain, you need to see your doctor. Having a few days of diarrhea can be quite common for some people, whereas other people never have diarrhea. You know your poop schedule and frequency more than anybody. And so if you're having Bristol type 7 poops and you have that off and on and you've had that for years, it's not anything to worry about. But if you never have Bristol type 7 and now you're having it and you've had it for more than 3 days, or you have abdominal pain or a high fever, that's something you should talk to your doctor about. Many people notice that when they change their way of eating, so if they change from just a junk food diet to a paleo diet or a ketogenic diet or a carnivore diet, they'll have diarrhea for a few days. And as long as this goes on no longer than 2 or 3 weeks because of your change in diet, that's almost never a cause for concern, keeping in mind that if you're having fever or severe abdominal pain, that makes it more likely to be a cause for concern. So anytime you change your dietary habits and go from one way of eating to another way, you're probably going to have a few days of diarrhea. It's nothing to worry about. Now let's talk for a minute about the amount of poop that you should poop when you do poop. Some people poop a lot. Other people don't poop that much. That full range of normal, that's considered normal. Nothing to worry about, okay? Now, the more junk food that you're eating, the more fiber that you're eating, you're going to have more poop that comes out when you poop, because you can't digest fiber and you can't digest a lot of the additives and a lot of the preservatives and colors and chemicals that are put in junk food. And so that's waste. That's something your body can't use, and so you're going to poop that out. Many people who switch their way of eating from eating standard American or some other high carbohydrate way of eating, which is full of junk that you can't absorb, therefore you have to poop out. When they switch to a ketogenic diet that's heavy in healthy fatty meats, or a ketovore diet, which is even higher in healthy fatty meats, or a carnivore diet, which is all meat, they notice that they just don't poop as much. They don't have the amount of poop come out, and they don't poop as often. This is not a cause for concern. This makes perfect sense if you think about this physiologically. If you're eating a diet full of foods that are full of crap and full of junk and full of fiber, you're going to have to poop all that out. And so you're going to have ginormous poops, and you're going to poop very often. If you're eating a very nutrient-dense diet, like fatty meat, heavy keto, ketovore, carnivore, everything you're eating is almost complete nutrition. There's very little waste in that diet. And so you're not going to poop as much. And indeed, many carnivores notice that they have a small poop once a day or a small poop every other day, because they're able to absorb everything that they've eaten because it's complete nutrition. Now, finally, let's talk about the caliber of your poop. Now, but when I say caliber, I'm not talking about the quality, I'm talking about the size, right? So some people have huge poops that have a very large caliber. Other people have very tiny poops. Now, the range that's normal, nothing to worry about. Some people have small caliber poops, some people have 12 gauge shotgun poops, and that's okay. What you want to look out for is any change in caliber. And it's typically this is your normal caliber of poop. And now all of a sudden, for the last few weeks or months, you're having very small caliber poops that are formed, but they're much smaller in caliber. That can be a sign that there's an obstruction, a blockage, or a growth somewhere in your lower large intestine. You need to probably talk to your doctor about any change in stool caliber. So whatever your normal has been, that's okay. Don't worry about that. But a change, a lessening in caliber, might need to have a conversation with your doctor. Also, if your poop has a specific dent or a groove in it, like it had to go by something to get out, again, there could be a growth in the lower part of your large intestine that's making that dent or that trench in your poop. Again, you probably need to talk to your doctor about that. I tried to cover as many topics about poop as I could in this video, but if I didn't answer your question specifically about poop, include your poop question down in the poop comments below. I'll try to answer as many poop questions in the poop comments below as I can. Now, if you would like extra credit, go back and watch this video again and count up how many times I said the word poop in this video and put that in the comments. The person who's closest to the right answer might win a prize. If you know someone who worries about their poop all the time, please consider sharing this video with them. It might ease their mind because, as I said earlier, so many people are worried about their poop when 95% of the time their poop is completely normal and nothing to worry about. So share this with a poop worrier to help ease their poop worried mind. This is Dr. Berry. I'll see you next time.